Hi guys! Today I'm going to be reading some r/PettyRevenge, read by Red. Hope you enjoy! Okay, let's get going with our first story. Drill Sergeant finishes doing the push-ups himself. I'm not sure if the story is true, but it's often told in my family as an inside joke. Please don't ask me for specifics, since I hear it only when my father and uncle are a bit drunk already. It happened when the generation of my parents was still in college or just out of it, so late 80s, early 90s. There was still mandatory military service at the time, but you could get out of it if you went to college. Still, you had to do some training, but it was mostly theoretical, light physical training and weapon handling. Here comes my uncle. Because of his studies, he lost a lot of weight and looked more like a new recruit rather than someone who just finished 5 years of college. This is important because during training, if you had a 5-year degree, you were given the lowest officer rank. He was casually walking when a drill sergeant, thinking he was one of his new recruits who was lost, started screaming at him and ordered him to get on the ground and do push-ups. My uncle just sighed and turned around showing his rank, and with a smile he said, "Now that you've wasted my time, how about you get on your face and give me 20? Okay, next story. "Excuse me, ma'am, I think I found your items, and it said reward if found." I worked for this really terrible supervisor a few years back. I don't know what her issue was, but she was hell-bent on making my, and only my life, a living hell for her own personal pleasure. I won't go into specifics, but she was sadistic, and I think she actually got off on torturing me. Finally, the day came when she left, and a celebration doesn't even begin to describe my emotions. However, right before she left, I decided to get my revenge. I went to Goodwill and bought just a bunch of random stuff like books, old CDs, DVDs, and cheap stuff. Inside the covers, I wrote her name, her office phone number, and made sure to put in there, reward if found. Then I proceeded to distribute all of the items in random parts of the city, like bus stations, train stations, restaurants, the beach, or any public place. It only took a day for the calls to start coming in from people who found the items. At first she was calm and explained that she didn't lose any of the items. Then it escalated to her screaming, "Look, I didn't lose a Hootie and the Blowfish CD, and even if I did, why the hell would I give you a reward for finding it?" It got to the point that upper management actually chewed her out because of the amount of personal calls that she was getting to her office phone. This caused her to temporarily disconnect her office phone because of all the calls she was getting. A couple of months afterwards, she was let go, and happiness is too weak to describe the emotional feeling I got. It wasn't because of this, rather accumulation of things which upset management, including how she treated me. However, seeing her melt down because of random strangers calling her work number and then getting chewed out made me smile. Okay, so next story. Oh, you want to be a creep? Here, let me give you a taste of your own medicine. So I work at a boba place and started working there about a couple of months ago. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at customer service, but I do know the good and the bad side of it, especially when customers feel entitled to get away with everything. My company had always made it clear that we must solve any issues with the customer with a smile and with kindness, which I don't mind as I'm not a confrontational or violent person. This day I was working the morning shift and it happened to get fast really quickly with mobile orders and in-store orders coming in fast. For our coffees, which are popular during the morning, we had to finish brewing the fresh espresso, as it's one of the options to add more espresso shots into your drinks. I quickly explained to our customers the situation and that we'll get their drinks right away. The way we are separated from the front view of the store to the back where we prepare the drinks is through two separate glass barriers. One is right at the front where the customers can see us, but still a bit far. The other is further back into the kitchen, where you would literally have to be really tall in order to see us preparing drinks. So, as I come back from boiling boba, I see a tall white male standing over the second glass barrier, just staring at us. I ask him if he's here for a mobile order or if he needs anything. He just shrugged his shoulders and said, "Nope, just watching," which creeped me and my co-workers out, as we were literally being watched doing everything. He did all this with an eerie smile, and it didn't make it any less creepy that we were all girls at this shift. I took my shift leader to the back and asked, is he allowed to do that? Which there is no policy that said he couldn't. We couldn't really stop him. This is what my shift leader said. I was just super tense the whole time working as he was there, so I did the one thing I could think of doing. If he wanted to look at us without any hesitation, why shouldn't I? So I legit made direct eye contact with this man, did all my work, preparing drinks, putting labels on cups and refilling utensils, without losing focus, and I kept all this up with a smile. He noticed this and quickly tried to look elsewhere around me, but I did not lose eye contact, and then he angrily asked for my name, which of course I gave him a fake name, and he quickly went back to where the other customers were standing. My heart was racing and my face was beet red, but the satisfaction that he felt just as uncomfortable as he made us was worth it. I later found out that he's actually a regular that does this all the time, but only to shifts where there's only females. However, now when he sees me from the front of the first window barrier, he doesn't try coming any closer. I know if he does, I'll just do it again. You know, that's actually a great way to deal with this situation. I think you did an awesome job. Okay, and our last story. People won't break down their boxes. I live in a large apartment building, and every floor has one trash room. There are signs everywhere that say, "Please break down your box and throw it down the trash chute." Well, especially since COVID hit, with people doing more online shopping, the trash room has been overflowing with unbroken boxes. There are residents that apparently believe the maintenance workers should break it down for them. I find this extremely rude, especially during COVID times. Many of these residents don't bother to at least break out or rip off their address, which shows which apartment it came from. So I do them a favor and bring their box back to their apartment with a little friendly reminder note to break down their stuff. I actually have my own story about breaking down boxes. My husband refused to break down boxes when we first moved into our current apartment. He would just take them and throw them in the dumpster hole. And we had some pretty big boxes from moving, and we were doing a lot of online shopping at the time. I got really angry with him because I know how quickly those dumpsters fill up, and you know, this is a big building. Anyway, one day I get a call from the building manager, which is weird because usually she calls my husband. She told me they had him on camera throwing big boxes into the dumpster without breaking them down, and then if he didn't stop, we were gonna get a fine. I apologized, of course, and I was secretly so happy that someone else was finally telling him to do the right thing, because he's obviously not going to listen to me, but maybe he'll listen to someone else. So I called him at work to tell him, and since then he's always broken down the boxes. It's such a little thing, and it doesn't take any extra effort really, and it makes everything better for everyone else, especially if you're going to fill up the dumpster and it's going to overflow. It's just not good. I hope you liked that r/PettyRevenge. It's such a fun sub to read. If you did, please like this video and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day.